Bitty brown, bitty brown, bitty brown dog, where'd you go? We don't know where the dog went, 'cause it's Monday. Internet! What up, Internet? What's going on? Oh, it's Monday. What up, everybody? It's Monday. Bitty Brown is here. Hey, Bitty Brown, what are you doing? Are you a good dog? You's a good dog. You gotta pet the dog and gotta give a shout out. Who was number one? Eric Gone Mad, number one to the chat today. Candy Overhauls, Jennifer J. Sarchicini, Wushu, Jimmy Brown, AD Aquatics, Steven Skoglin, Glass Boxes, Jim Meeker, Sombra 00 with the internet. Hey, FU2's here, the Turtle Girl, Michael Hoffman, Ryan C., Frank Dominguez, Wushu Jimmy Brown. I already said Wushu Jimmy Brown, but we like Wushu Jimmy Brown, so we'll say that a bunch. Oh, someone outside is bumping the bass. Going big with the bass. I like it. Emerald Pets, a.k.a. Natasha. CJ Black is here, and I'm probably going to miss the Lone Aquarius 8 Strychnine. Oh, what's up? AMA Aquatics. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday out there. Let's see, Jennifer J. Sargicino just made it back from San Diego, back to the hot. Oh, we don't like that here. Quick update on the weather here in Western Washington. Our weather has returned. It has returned to the glorious 64 degrees, a little bit of rain, and I'm loving it. Honestly, I'm loving it. I got enough of the 95-degree weather. I got enough of it. I feel satiated in needing the hot weather. And I'm sure 3-4 weeks from now, I'll be like, why is it so cold still? But in the meantime, it is super active time around here. It was super active. Because it's not so hot that people feel like they're in a heat stroke, which is great because this part of the country needs a little bit of it needs a little bit of that cold weather for the people here to kind of activate their inner goodies. I see a lot of people showing up saying hello, people asking questions about the concert and stuff. Hopefully you guys saw the title. The title track there is This Weekend Concerts, Fish Stores, and More. And of course, once again, I double capitalized some letters in there. So that looks real good for the title, right? It's not like, I don't know if anybody even reads the title these days. They probably just look at the thumbnail like, oh, I'm going to click on that, right? I don't know. I find myself doing that all the time. 422. What was that? What was that? What the picture is? Carson, I'm confused. I don't know what you're saying. That is a picture of a purple rainbow, Bosemani rainbow, I think. Maybe it's a different name. Maybe it's a rainbow fish. Purple rainbow fish. That's what that was. But in the title, excuse me, in the title here we have a bunch of stuff. I went to multiple fish stores this weekend. We also went to the big punk rock show here, the big old timer. I guess it's kind of old timer punk rock show. featuring Bad Religion, No Effects, Goldfinger, Less Than Jake, and I think that was it. I think that was the full lineup. There might have been another band. Another band might have snuck in there. I think we missed one. Long show, but I think it realistically was right in the time frame when good things happen. It was like 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. It was like right about just when you kind of want to go rock out a little bit and then go do something else, you know? I mean, the last thing you want to do is be at an open air show at like 1 in the morning, you know? People just haggard, you know? So it was pretty good. We do have some video from that. We have some video from the fish store. We do have some new incarnations added to the fish room here, which will be coming up this week. So hopefully you guys will be tuning in over the week as we do some of that stuff. I think people saw the community post, I think is what Carson was asking about. The community post was a picture of a new fish tank. New fish tank is going in the fish room. That one is actually a 150-gallon. The quest to find a 120-gallon aquarium continues on. It just continues to it continues to confound me that I cannot find a 120-gallon aquarium for whatever reason to replace Vicky's with. But here's the cool side: I did find a sump. So I went and picked up a new sump for Vicky. She's using that 40 breeder right now as her sump, and she wasn't liking it very much. But we managed to get a new one for her. Well, I managed to get a new sump for her. So a lot of cool stuff going on into the fish room. The 150 is actually going to replace the 180 that I know a lot of people were really excited to see me build a background for that 180. But personally, I get this overwhelming feeling when it comes to building a background. And it's an overwhelming negative feeling. I just like a big sigh, a big, yeah, comes over my body, and I don't really want to do it. Honestly, I know how to do it. I would love to make a video to show you guys how to do it sometime, but here's the problem. It takes weeks to accomplish it properly. And it's just really not a project that I necessarily, you know, it's not like I ever want to move into building backgrounds. I think there's a big company out there that does backgrounds now. I've heard good reviews, I've heard bad reviews, and those guys are doing that stuff. So it seems like a lot of people are doing that, and I really didn't want to spend my time building a background. And so because of that blue background on that 180 there, I was just kind of staring at it going, and I didn't really want to get around. I kept going like, oh, I should do the plumbing on that thing. I should get it going. I should get it. And I just kept going like, I need to do the background. Well, we've resolved that by acquiring a 150-gallon that's going to take its place. Now, the cool thing with this is that it's going to actually free up a foot of width, right? It's going to free up a foot of width from where the 180 was sitting before. So it's going to make it a little bit easier for me to try and find a replacement tank for Vicky, because she wants a different tank in her spot. It's actually going to free up some space. So that's it's going to be good. It's going to be good, guys. And then on the upside, this 150 has a black background, so I'm just going to go. So we're going to be scaping and setting up and plumbing a whole new aquarium, which will be the Shrimp Sanctuary. I'm putting air quotes around it because that's a real tentative name. I should probably come up with a better name for it. I see Flip. Mr. Rob Lup Diesel has showed up in the chat. He's the guy that the shrimps are going to be coming from at some point in time. And I have not showed off any of the projects that are ongoing for him. I've got some paintings coming out for him, and I'm going to show you the time lapse on those when they're done. But when they're done, they're sort of a surprise, so I'm going to stick them in the mail, and then I'll release the time lapse on those of the making of those paintings and stuff for old Robbie there. Those will be going out at some point in time, probably within the next 2 weeks. I'm doing the best I can right now to try and keep doing the show here. Oh, things are so tentative right now. I'm so tense because of you know, whether or not I'm going to pick up a bunch of big construction jobs, which is going to conflict with doing this show first and foremost, it's going to conflict with doing the show, and second of all, well, the other thing is that it's money. It's would generate money, so the money thing is kind of hanging in the balance. But since we have a bunch of people here in the chat, I'm going to let you guys know something right now, because I know this applies to Rob and probably a few other people. I will be attending the Aquatic Experience in Chicago. I have acquired the airfare. I managed to borrow and credit card action a plane ticket, and I'm going to be sleeping on the floor. I'm going to be doing whatever I can out there in Chicago to show up to the Aquatic Experience there. So I will be in Chicago November 2nd until November 6th. So I will be there. I'll be wearing pants. I'm not sure which pants. I don't know if I'll be bringing the Technicolor Dream pants all the way out there. But I will be in Chicago. So that is going to happen. And I have probably leveraged a little bit of the credit card, if you know what I'm saying. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully it works out pretty good. At the very least, I'm going to get to meet a bunch of people out there and have a good time. So that'll be a lot of fun. I see Jimmy of Aquarium Co-op showed up in the chat there. So I believe Jimmy and Corey will be there, and from what I understand, Corey is going to have a table, so I'm going to probably be posted up at that. The Turtle Girl says she can't go to Chicago. Well, hopefully everybody will make it out there. Hopefully I'll be able to make it out to other conventions. We'll see how that shakes out. We'll just see how it goes. Right now, like I said, I'm on a shoestring threadbare budget right now, so things are kind of tight, but that's all right. I don't mind, and you know, I just wanted to say here on the Monday episode that if the schedule changes, people like Nisi that are in the chat and stuff will keep you posted as to what the schedule is going. I got some messages over the weekend, people going like, where's the show at? We're doing Monday through Friday from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock right now is what we're doing, and I would like to stick with this schedule, and also be able to do some more production style videos on the weekend. It's just been totally hectic here trying to get everything done, so it's coming pretty. Things are coming along pretty good, though. I'm pretty excited to go to Chicago. It's going to be a lot of fun to go out to a big convention like that. Hopefully get some good opportunity to talk to some of the people that may or may not have sent me emails over the years or messages over the years. A little FaceTime, you know, a little FaceTime. Put some faces to some names. So should be pretty fun. Yeah, I'll be out there, and like I said, I'm gonna be sleeping on people's floors. Luckily, the guy who was first to the chat there, Eric Gone Mad, is going to let me utilize his futon and possibly cart me around a little bit. Maybe he'll hook me up with some rides. I don't know. I might have to download the Uber app or something, or get a bus pass and be creeping around the north end of Chicago. So I've already alerted a couple of people that live out in that area that I will be there. So hopefully we'll see some nonsense from some people. I'll definitely do some live streams while I'm out there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to upload. The live streams will probably be like from my phone, so I can't imagine that they'll be super high quality or any of that kind of stuff. So, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, and it will be super fun. Right? Right. I do know the Reefapalooza is coming up. I'm not sure when Reefapalooza is. Maybe somebody could look it up for me. I know Reefapalooza is coming up, and I know that Jimmy and Corey are they're doing that road trip. I'm excited to see some of this road trip footage that they come up with. Hopefully it's not road trip footage of them breaking down or anything like that. That's not very exciting footage. Well, I guess it can be. I've seen movies made out of stuff like that. Broken down in the woods and, you know, and all that stuff. Lone Aquarius says October 6th through 8th is the, let's see, is the Reefapalooza. So Reefapalooza is actually coming up. That's only a couple of weeks. What's that, 3 weeks away? Oh, and that's the reason why I wasn't all running and gunning to go to the Reefapalooza. Vicky and I actually have our final little trip. We won a. It's not a trip. We're actually just gonna fly around Seattle. We went to a fundraiser for abandoned dogs is what it was. It was a fundraiser for that, and we actually won a little plane ride in like a Cessna to fly around the city of Seattle. So I'll shoot some footage of that, but that's coming up in 3 weeks, so that's why I wasn't pushing real hard to try and go to Reefapalooza. So glass boxes with the New Zealand style super chat with a liter of gas towards the Chicago aquatic experience. Well, thank you very much. It's probably going to end up going into, oh, excuse me, I'm burping. It's probably going to go into a Uber driver's pocket, most likely, when I get lost. When I'm in Chicago, just looking around, going, all right, where am I at? I don't know. Is that north? Is that south? Where am I going? I don't know. You know, my Googles doesn't work. So hopefully that will be pretty good. Oh, Eric's gonna take a 4-day weekend. I'll definitely make up breakfast. That's for sure. I'll definitely do some cooking while I'm there to help cover my futon experience, Chicago style. Joel can do the jingle if you break down Jimmy and Corey. Oh, yeah, I could do that. So Glass Boxes says we need to get to 713 liters. Yeah, that's essentially where I need to get in order to get to Chicago properly to pay back the credit card, I guess. But it's going to be worthwhile. Like I said, I think it'll be a ton of fun, and I'll definitely get a lot of video and stuff while I'm there. I have a Vicky was asking me, like, who's gonna do the filming while you're there, and I'm like, well, yeah, me, you know, I'm gonna have to do it. You know, and she goes, who does the filming for Corey when he's there? And I go, Jimmy. And she goes, could Jimmy do some of the filming while you're there? And I was like, well, maybe if I just strap a GoPro to Jimmy and he doesn't know, then maybe I'll get some footage of somebody moving about the place while they're there. But yeah, I'll be shooting a lot of video there, and I do have a plan to bring some art along with me, along with like some stickers and stuff. I think my buddy owns a one of those traditional press companies where you actually carve out the big log, and then you do a ink press, right? It's like old school, old-timey printing kind of stuff. And he's going to help me do basically a run of 100 little pieces of art that I'll basically be, handing out to people, just like a limited edition stuff that's like signed. So I'll be bringing that, and I'll probably bring some stickers and probably put some stickers on some stop signs or something like that, and probably hear from the police later in regards to who's this dip that's putting stickers on stop signs or whatever. Let's see, Turbofish, so grateful that I can make it. I'm grateful that I can make it. I'm grateful that I have a lovely lady that realistically, she's the one that went and looked up the tickets and got the stuff booked, because I was like running around trying to figure out which foot is which, and just generally slapping myself in the face and freaking out and running around. And meanwhile, she was already figured out like which planes I can go on, and had that all sorted by the time I figured out what the heck I was doing. Well, now I just have to figure out how to pay back to credit people before they come and remove a limb. Candy Overhauls to help with the trip expenses. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat. It's huge. It's huge, man. It's huge. And one of the things that I wanted to mention today is, and I know that so one of the things that was going on. So on Saturday, I tuned in to. Jimmy and Corey were talking on
the Jimmy of Aquarium Co-op page, and I was trying to tune in, but I was on my phone, so I was trying to like type on my phone while I was riding. I wasn't driving on the freeway. I was riding in the passenger side. I was like trying to type, but it's terrible on my phone. But we were headed to actually a fish store, so then I had a bit of a break. But they were talking about the Patreon, which is right here. Here's my Patreon. Okay, I've noticed a bunch of people have fallen in line with the Patreon concept recently. I've noticed it been coming up quite a bit. Not to say that I'm the originator of the Patreon, but because I didn't start that company or anything like that. But what a lot of people have been talking about is going, hey, if you like this show, you like this stuff, we don't like the advertising, we don't like all the nonsense, we don't like all the tomfoolery that YouTube does and all this kind of stuff, you could go on Patreon, you can donate $1, $5, $10, whatever. Mine's monthly. Mine is not like per video or anything crazy like that. Mine's set up once a month at the end of the month. You could kick in a little donation towards the show. It takes a much smaller percentage than whatchamacallit, than YouTube does and all that kind of stuff, but it also is open, so you guys can see what it is, how many people are patronizing, all that kind of stuff. You can go in there and check all that stuff out. I like that it's full disclosure instead of just the mystery of what YouTube is doing and stuff like that. But I do appreciate the super chats. If that's the way that you guys like to do it, that's totally cool too. But the Patreon to me seems like the best kind of way to go. And I noticed that we had a lot of Patreons coming in this weekend, and I will definitely give a shout out to all those guys, to everybody who has signed up for the Patreon. I do that every video, so I try to get to that every video, and I generally do. Let's see. Turtle Girl, am I the only one half listening and half using Joel's voice as a concentration tool for studying? I've realized that lately. I've been getting a lot of messages from people like, hey, I listen to your show to go to sleep. And I'm like, well, hey, this is the organic Ambien that can just send you to bed the organic way with zero side effects except for crazy dreams when I start yelling in the middle of this show. Surprises! You know, and start yelling that kind of stuff, then you'll have weird dreams with me shouting in the background, which is fine. Trust me, you'll be okay. Let's see. At Jimmy Aquarium Co. get the funding, and I will help build it. Gonna run a GoFundMe to build a big robot suit of cameras. Oh, I like that. You should get a big robot suit of cameras. I mean, if you build the suit, I'll strap a camera to you. Just build the suit. I'm sure a lot of people will sign up with cameras and just add them in, you know, and that'll work. Except you'll get really tired, I guarantee it. Michael Hoffman can help out some if I need it. Oh yeah, cool, man. I'm gonna be out in Chicago trying to have as much fun as I possibly can while I'm out there. And I know I'll have a lot of free time because I know a lot of people will be out like drinking and boozing and doing whatever they're doing, and I'm not into that stuff. So I'm gonna have a fair amount of time to like to do some, look around, see what's going on. So either way, I think I'll have a lot of fun out there. But yeah, I mean, contact me. The easiest way to contact me, I've had people keep asking, like, you know, how do I get a hold of you? Like, what's up? If you go to darkstararts.com, you can go on there, and my contact information is on darkstararts.com. Since I brought that up, I'm just going to do the quick spiel here of the Amazon banner at the top of the page. If you have ad blocker on, turn ad blocker off. The only ad that will show up on Darkstar Arts is the Amazon banner. If you go there and you're going to go buy groceries or whatever from Amazon, just make sure you click through that banner or someone else's banner before you go. Like, maybe you don't want to click through mine. I get it. I go through the disabled veterans is where I click through. before I go buy stuff on Amazon. It basically gives them the advertising kickback. It doesn't change the price of anything. It doesn't do anything like that. But that money will show up from somewhere. For instance, like if you accidentally clicked on a pop-up ad at some point in time, it's going to go to those guys. So I always make sure that I click through a banner before I go to Amazon and buy stuff, because I want that kickback to go to somebody who's doing good in the world, and not creating pop-up ads that show up when I'm just trying to say what up to people on Facebook or whatever. Woo! Here we go. I gotta have my coffee, guys. I'm running a little on empty today. It is very, 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 very busy day today. Like I said, I picked up a new aquarium and sump today. Edited together some video. I'm working on Eric's painting over here. I've been running around. It's been a little nutty, but overall a good day. This weekend's been very good, and we're 20 minutes in, so let's go to the video. Let's go to the video. Oh, wow. Let's start it off here by hanging out in Bellevue, Washington. And let me throw a caveat on here, guys. I had to film with my cell phone this whole weekend, so my apologies for this crappy video quality. The video quality is decent if I stand really still, but if I ever move that cell phone around at all, it just looks like garbage. So it's not something I'm super enthusiastic about the quality of the film here, but we can check out some of the stuff here at this is Sea King Aquarium in Bellevue, Washington. It's actually a new place. I definitely dug the guy's setup. He has I think he had 8 big frag tanks set up in the main floor area, which I definitely thought was pretty good for being able to go around and just look at all the stuff that was in there. So these are 4 foot by 8 foot, and then probably about, I would say, 14 inches tall. So you can see here in the video, there's multiple of them kind of all around the room here. And they have all the frags and all the small stuff and a lot of fish in them and stuff like that. And then up on the wall here, this is where they have a lot of their fish on display if you are looking to buy some more sizable fish and stuff like that. Although they do have fish in those frag tanks too. So this, like I said, this store was really new. So there was some chaos going on in here a little bit just because of the newness of the store. But other than that, Vicky and I were both ultimately impressed with the setup, with the health of the things that were here. The amount of coral frags and all that kind of stuff that he had set up was actually really, really nice. It was actually really nice to check out a store like this, but there was some kind of scattered stuff about, just mainly because it was a new store. It was they're still in the process of, you know, sort of dialing in where everything kind of goes and all that kind of stuff. One of the funny things about opening a fish store is that they get you know, all the stuff is alive, so it's not like opening a camping goods store where you could just have a bunch of stuff in boxes and just leave it in there for a month while you do the build out. All the stuff is going to be alive once you move it in there. So I could feel where this guy was coming from. He was like, "Look, I'm just going to open the doors and let people come in and stuff." And then they had a back room where kind of the big chaos was going on back there, which I'm sure at some point in time will be open. It will be open at. You know, at some point in time, like I said, some point in time, that back room will be open, I would guess, if I had to guess. The Turtle Girl says, this is in Bellevue. How long has it been around? Like I said, it's only been open maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months, maybe less. I'm not sure. I didn't, and Carson says 1 year-ish, but I don't think so. I think they just recently opened. But Carson says 1 year-ish. He might know. The Lone Aquarius saying, oh, rock flower anemones, love them. Yes, and we actually do have a rock flower anemone in the 180 now, which will be coming up later this week. I'll be showing you guys some video on the introduction. We essentially I went there with completely empty pockets, and Vicky decided that there was a couple of corals that she really, 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 really liked. And Vicky's the kind of person where, you know, if she sees something that she wants, she goes, now's the time to get it. Because, you know, we might come back in a month and it might have sold. It might be gone and they wouldn't have it or whatever. So she is definitely gangster like that for sure, where she's just like, yeah, let's make this happen because it's available now. So we did pick up some corals. One of them is a flower anemone, so you can check that out. Like I said, later in this week, I'll be showing you guys the introduction of those corals into the reef, and we'll be getting to that. But like I said, I definitely dug how he had things set up here because it was really accessible to go around and look at all the frags that he had. The one downside that I didn't like all that much is that the pricing was kind of missing. It does kind of bother me when when stores don't have like a full pricing model set up, you know, where it's like this whole area is $40, this area is $20, this area is $3, blah blah blah. So that was definitely one of the big things that was missing. All right, as we move into the punk rock show portion of the video, you know, obviously, guys, I had a bit of problems editing my video, so I kind of had to just splash it together real quick. This big show here was called the Punkin' Drublic. What'd you call it? I guess it was called the Punkin' Drublic show, whatever. Which was like a big beer fest, which actually was fine. You know, you guys know that I don't drink and whatnot, but it actually wasn't that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal for me to be around people that are drinking. That's not a big issue to me. But the first band we saw here was Less Than Jake, which I have to admit, these guys were the most spot on out of anybody that we saw of the night, or of the day into the night. I recall my buddy playing a show with them like almost 20 years ago, and having run into them for a minute, and they were all definitely band dorks, and it definitely shows up in their show that they are for sure music nerds, because it sounds like their album when they play live. There was a portion there with Bad Religion. Bad Religion actually opened for NoFX, which is super weird because that's pretty much the opposite how things normally go. But NoFX was the band that put this concert on, so they made Bad Religion go before them. They actually said that during the show. But just to give you kind of a feel and an idea what this was like, they're headed to other cities after this, so if anybody is interested, we actually had VIP passes provided by Vicky's cousin, who was actually cool enough to have bought us tickets and brought us along on the show. Yesterday, right before the Seahawks game, which I watched from home, it's not like I went to the game or anything, we had one of my good buddies, B-Rad, had to come down this way because we needed to go to Cabela's. And I like Cabela's because they have a ton of outdoor gear there, and I think a lot of you guys know that I love outdoor gear, going up into the mountains, doing any kind of stuff into the mountains. And one of the cool things about Cabela's is they have giant fish tanks even with sturgeon in them. So this was like a happy little surprise because I knew that they oftentimes had like a bass tank in there. But it was pretty cool to actually get an opportunity to check out some really big fish just for free. You just get to go in there and it's just in the store. Yeah, it's a big ass, probably 4 foot, maybe 5 foot sturgeon. And just a beefy bugger, and just get right up in there and check them out. Which also, this brought me back to thinking about the fact that one of the things on the Patreon is we want to do a giant tank like this at some point in time, and make it a little more interesting than just having a few big fish in it like this. We want to do a giant planted scape or something along those lines that will be that modular tank that we've talked about in the past, to be able to drive it around for drive it around city to city, and hopefully be on the convention circuit to go around and go to cities and see more people other than just Chicago this year. You know, that hopefully in the future we'll be able to be doing that, moving along. Let's see. Jordan Leroy loves a multi-band event. Carnival of Madness was one of my favorite gigs. Oh yeah, right on. Yeah, actually the concert was a lot of fun. Actually getting an opportunity to check out this aquarium, surprisingly enough, was a lot of fun too. And I'm gonna actually go back to that portion of the video. Where was it? Where he comes right up to the camera here. Oh, where'd he go? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Let's get him right in the camera. There we go. We'll just leave it paused here for a minute. Just digging that little screenshot right there. But not to be remiss here. Cool store. Haven't been there myself yet. Used to go to Saltwater City, about 2 miles away. Okay. Carson used to go to Saltwater City, which is actually only about 2 miles away from where, what was it, Sea King was at, which was pretty cool. Let's see. Corey is on Jimmy's channel, or on Jimmy's account. I have a video that has one single word in it, which is surprises, and was deemed not suitable for all viewers. It comes out in 5 days from visiting Chorus. It only has one word in it, but it's deemed not suitable for all viewers. All right. Actually, I do look forward to everyone getting an opportunity to see that video. I did get to see the preview of when Corey and Jimmy came here. Jimmy went and put together it's probably like a 2-minute video, but it actually was really well done. A lot of laughs in it for sure. So I'm actually looking forward to that. That's funny that it would be deemed unsuitable for the kids, or for all audiences, I guess. That's actually, I wonder what that means. I wonder what that means realistically if you get down to it. If you get down to whether somebody thinks it's suitable or not. I don't know. All right, so we have one other thing to announce today. So let's get to that. I need to go back over here to the dashboard and click on scene 1. There we go. We have one more thing to announce here before we kind of get into the gibberish portion of the live show here. The video card, in order to run this camera, and I've got it right here, it's primed and ready to go, is finally available, and it is coming in the mail. So let's look forward to some much better video quality on the live stream coming out here fairly, very soon. I'm obviously going to have to program a little bit, mess with the thing, get it in line, and slap the computer around a little bit and do the things that I got to do over here with the ones and twos and the zeros and ones and DLL files and all that nonsense. But thanks to you guys and your contributions, we actually are going to be able to use the bigger, better cameras instead of just these this web camera we have right now. That one over there is probably going to get a bullet through it, I would guess. I'll probably give that to B-Rad, and then he can take it to the firing range and shoot a hole through it for me. It's, Eve Daigle says, I think someone swore in that video, that someone being me. That's probably true. Sometimes I do swear if anybody gets real butthurt about that. I'm sure there's lots of Disney shows that you all could go out and watch if you're so inclined. I do swear on occasion. I don't understand people that get super offended by the occasional shit or whatever. It doesn't make any sense to me, mainly because I grew up with a grandma that said shit wasn't a swear word. That's what my grandma said, and I listened to my mom and I listened to my grandma. And so I don't drop very many f-bombs, but I do drop a shit every once in a while, you know. And then I get an email from, I don't know, somebody in Missouri or Antarctica or wherever the hell they're coming from. Not sure. That is very true on the co-op channel. You can't do that. Don't do that. But I'm not sure that I managed to give out a big thank you for Corey and Jimmy and their hospitality. Those guys bought me. Those guys bought me some breakfast. We had some good times. We had some laughs. We had to sit in some traffic. We actually came down here on the show, and just to give a thank you, I put some thought into Corey's 800-gallon aquarium because we were talking about it while I was there, and it didn't cross my mind, and it just crossed my mind right now. We were having a big... So he's working on filtration, and we were kind of talking about it, and I didn't think about it at the time because he has an automated water change. So he didn't want to run a sump underneath because of the automated water change. And for whatever reason at the time, we were so busy that I was just like, well, oh man, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Having thought about it, I just realized, I don't know, out of the blue while I was driving around or whatever, hopefully I can go up there and help them wire in a sump, because I know how to do the automated water change with a sump underneath, and that it's not all crazy like we thought it was going to be. I think everybody was going like, well, this is going to be crazy because it's got the automated water change on it, and actually it's not, because I just had to think about it for a good amount of time while driving around or something. It's actually not going to be that difficult. So hopefully I can get a hold of them and help them out when I get back. Not when I get back, when they get back from their weird road trip. Hopefully we'll figure that out. And yeah, so I figured I'd just say that because I know I'm probably playing somewhere, probably on like Jimmy's phone or something. Let's see. Jordan Leroy was watching a recorded digital university lecture, and it looked like he had a webcam rather than a lapel mic. Oh, that is awful. You gotta have a lapel mic, man. You gotta have a lapel mic or a studio mic like this. Yep. But you got to have a lapel mic. It's unbelievable somebody doing a lecture and just talking into that mic up there. That is one thing that will get me to go away, is bad audio. I can deal with bad video all day long, but bad audio is... Oh, he had a webcam attached to his lapel? Hey, man, maybe they're just making it work, I guess. That sounds like they were just making it work. Like, whatever they had was just... that just sounds like they were just making it work. Was meant to be a digital university lecture. Yeah. But that sounds like they were just making it work. Let's see. Carson will get baby to dive down and drill holes in Corey's tank. Well, I hope not. That tank is beautiful, honestly. It is pretty rare in my occasion and my experience to get an opportunity to actually look at brand new acrylic. It's pretty rare to get an opportunity to look at a brand new acrylic tank. They're normally beat up by the time I get around to having to buff them out, clean them up, and clean them up and all that kind of stuff. So it actually was really nice to see a brand new one, especially with all the holes drilled where they're supposed to be instead of random holes and whatnot out there. Anybody in the Western Washington area, actually have 2 tanks for sale right now on the Facebook pages. So if anybody's looking for one of those tanks, go check that out. Let's see here. The Lone Aquarist was asking, can you explain why that 800 needs a sump? Corey explained it to me. He's having some issues with pulling fines out of the water column. He's actually just ending up with a lot of fines kicking around up into the water column, and and wanting to eliminate those. So he wants to add a little more turbidity to be able to filter a little more. Right now the filters he has on there aren't pulling really like a ton of water volume to get all that stuff out of the water column effectively and quickly. So that's kind of the big deal. So yeah, just basically mechanical filtration and all that kind of stuff. But when we were up there was like so much stuff going on that I think we both were just kind of like, well, I don't know, you know, kind of situation. And so it just was kind of like, yeah, I don't know. And then I was driving around thinking about it like, that's not that complicated. Like, it's gonna be pretty easy to set that up. I don't know why it was feeling complicated at the time. I guess Lumpy Dog is super upset. Her ears are crying, and I'm sorry for that. One thing I want to do here before we get too far towards the end, I want to give a chance to get a chance here to give a shout out to the patronizers. But I forgot to click the button over here. Of course. So I got to click the button so I can view the patronizers. And we got a whole bunch of new ones here, guys, so I'm going to try and mention the new ones, but they might get mixed in with the old ones. But we do have a lot. We do have a lot of OGs here to the Patreon page, and we do have the leader of the pack at the top of the board, still at the top of the board. I don't know if he'll ever get. I don't know if he'll get booted off the top, but I want to give a shout out to all the Patreonizers, and if anybody's confused when I say Patreonizers, here's a hot link to the Patreon, and you can check it out there. Oh, before I get to the Patronizer, Steven Skoglund here says he just needs a yard big enough to put in an 80 by 80 by 12 pond, and that's one thing I want to bring up about that. Is that Steven Skoglund actually has some new videos out. He was doing a walkthrough in his basement. He's got a new house. He's got some new fish stuff going on there. So if you do get a chance, check it out. His channel is just starting out. He's always been super cool dude, super active and interested in helping out and kind of stuff like that. So check out Steve Skoglund's channel if you can. It's great. It's a great opportunity to get in on somebody's channel where he's like just starting out, and like you can definitely be active like that. I know it's difficult to be active on people's channels that have been around for a really long time. I know it's hard to do that, but it's great to see him like producing videos and seeing how they're coming along, and hopefully you guys can keep track with him. I was super stoked and then forgot to type into the keyboard like a maniac. I was like, I've been running around. It's been kooky. It's been nutty. I literally ate cold leftover food out of the bin earlier today because I was trying to get back to all the things I was trying to do. So yeah, so Steve Skoglund's in the chat right there. The Patreon's right in the chat right there, and we're gonna run through the Patreonizers here really quickly. Just to give a shout out to everybody on there. Up at the top of the leaderboard, if it is a leaderboard, I'm calling it that. It's not a competition, you guys. But Aquarium Co-op at $250 a month, followed by Steven Skoglund, Long Wu, and Sashimi Whiskey at the $20 a month mark. Up there on the top rung. As we go down the line here at the $10 mark, we have Joel Gillett out of Newswaslian. We got Dean H, who's new in here, long-time listener, first-time patronizer. Vince Grippa is new to the Patronizer at the $10 mark. Denzel Gregory is new also. Nick K Aquatics, who I know is in the chat. I saw him earlier. Rob Hicks is new to the at the $10 a month mark. Matt Gilmet, longtime supporter of the channel. Jack Betts, who is still relatively new this month. Cichlid Bro, who's been with me since we were small children in the forest and we had to wipe the dirt out of our eyes and come out here, figure out what was going on. Emden Hollander holds the crown as the first Patronizer ever. And then now we move into the $5 a month mark, and we're going to have to move through them quickly because there's a lot of you guys now. Pamela Early Wine, Kevin Keener, Candy Overhauls, who's like brand new. I think you just kicked in today. Addison Nishima. Oh, hold on. How do you say that? Nishishma. Addison Nishishma. I don't know how to say that, and I'm probably screwing it up. Jim Meeker, Karen Halbert, Eve Daigle, Kevin Hayes, Gene Fensky, Jennifer J. Sarchicino, and Karen KZ Ellis. And not to be down here at the bottom, at the $1 and $2 mark, we've got Bracken Ward, Jeff Jackson, Thomas and Donchek, or Thomas and how do you Thomas Donchek, Nisi of the North, 3D Reefer, and Matthew. All them Matthews at the bottom. All right. And a quick shout out to Candy Overhauls, Turbo Fish, and Glass Boxes for your super chats today. Thank you very much, you guys. And we move into the last 10 minutes, and it's probably going to be turning into total nonsense because I've been talking super fast today. So I'll try to slow it down a little bit. Let's try to slow down here, guys, and we'll take it down into the last 10 minutes of the show. Unless, as you guys know the rules, somebody extends it and has a question that they really need to get in there before they got to get it in before tomorrow. Sometimes you got to get it in before tomorrow. Take a deep breath, guys. Take a deep breath. Find your center. Find your center. You're in a dark room. You're in a dark room, and there's a small flame in the center of the room. You're in all pitch blackness. You focus on the flame, the small flame in the very center of the room. Okay. We've meditated now, and we're moving on. So let's roll back up in the chat here. Steve Scoglin says 31 patronizers. I remember when we hit 10. Yeah, that's right. We're up to 31, and it's amazing, you guys. You know, when I started this out, my whole thing was to do this show about the fish tanks, about my art, about hiking, about agriculture, about the aquaponics. I didn't want this live show to just stagnate and then just sit here and talk about biological filtration for 5, 10, 20, 30 hours a month, right? You know, I realistically reach out to you guys to help support it. One of the big things is you know, if we have you know 4,000 people at the $1 mark a month, we can totally fund this thing all the time, and I could just be putting all that money back into production and being here and doing videos and going to places and that kind of stuff. Obviously, the sky's the limit. The bigger the goals, the bigger the projects. You know, that's really kind of the thing. Is like, I don't have a ton of money to do a giant fish tank project, but if everybody's funding it just $1 a month, then I think that's really beneficial to everybody out there, and I think it's beneficial to all the creators out there too, because I know that a lot of people are moving over to the YouTube Red format, and one of the big things about YouTube Red is that if you watch people's show, they get a small amount of money from YouTube Red, regardless of whether there's commercials or not, because YouTube Red doesn't have any commercials, so it's pretty supportive. Some people out there don't care about that. They don't care about YouTube Red, and I get it. And one of the things is that you could go, hey, I really dig this show. I listen to it 10 hours a month, and it's worth like $3 for me, or whatever your number is. And you can go, you can kick it our way. Our goal is to get rid of all the advertising and all that horseshit nonsense stuff, so that you know, it's a lot easier for me to stay in. Well, I think it's a lot easier for everyone out there to stay in sort of in the zone of their actual own opinion if they're not beholden to like advertisers and that kind of stuff, if that makes sense. You know, it's like if I was to try something out from Fluval, right? If I was like to test out a product from Fluval and I'm sponsored by Fluval, what kind of video do you think I'm really going to put out? You know, one that just says like, Fluval's a bunch of jackasses and they make garbage stuff. It's like, no, you know, I don't think anybody's going to really do that. I don't know a lot of people that have turned down sponsorships other than myself. I've actually tested products and mailed it back to people because I didn't want to put out a bad review. I've already I've already gotten hammered by CChem so much for my Matrix review video that is out there, which I have considered taking down the that Matrix video just because the negativity I get from it is astounding. Like a ton of people that have no investment in CChem at all, completely defending their pumice product, which is odd to me. It's very odd. It's very odd that I like CChem. I use a ton of their products. I use a ton of their stuff almost every day, and I just felt like that was a very disingenuous product if they were just pulling it out of the ground, washing it off, and sticking it in a bucket for how much money it was, and it turned into this weird thing. And you know, it's like, but anyhow, the whole reason I brought that up was the whole reason for doing this show this way was essentially put it into your guys' hands, that and have it not be like beholden to Goodyear tires or whatever. You know what I'm saying? To be like, well, Goodyear tires get you down the road and your baby will be safe and no one will die and there won't be a fire. Blah. You know, and throwing that kind of crap in all the time, or MeUndies or whatever, you know, like whatever company is out there doing that kind of stuff. Because it'd be real easy for the group of people that watch this to easily kick in on that kind of stuff. So, that's the way that I like to fund the guys that I listen to too. So, let's see. Oh, Nick K Aquatics just creeping. So let's see. Not very active, but I do post update on my tanks. Yeah, Eve Daggle's on there posting stuff. Bonus points if you can say my last name right. Mellow Moogle. All right, so I got to figure out who Mellow Moogle is. Oh, I'm going to have to guess that Mellow Moogle is Addison Nishijima. Nishijima, I think, is kind of close. I have to, hold on, my old eyes can't read it from here. I think that's Nishijima. I think. If that's... Okay, it is Nishijima. I was having problems reading it. It's like a little tiny print way over there. Which reminds me, I do have to get to the optometrist here fairly soon and update these, because my eyes are probably going to fall out of my head here fairly soon. Oh, so I got bonus points for getting it right. Yeah, Nishijima. That's not that weird. The first time I read it, I was tripping because I was reading all these other names. And everybody on the Patreon here has wildly varying whatchamacallits. The Lone Aquarius says that's the best video. Don't take it down. No, I'm not going to take it down. I was actually, what I was saying was that I had considered taking it down because I was tired of the just the negativity I was getting from it, especially, and not necessarily just the YouTube negativity, but like the CChems negativity, that they were sending me emails and stuff about how I was disrespecting them, how their accounts had been banned from my channel, how apparently I had banned all of their accounts from my channel, which is hilarious because I could literally go in and look right now and see who's banned from my channel, and it's only like nine accounts. I've only ever banned like 9 people. So maybe all those 9 people are from CChem and just use insanely nasty, dirty language, and those are the ones that I've banned. So maybe those are their accounts. I don't know. But they claim that I did not allow them to have representation, even though I was reviewing their product. And so it was pretty odd. And at one point in time, I did delete one of the comments on there, which was from an account that had been created 45 minutes earlier from when that comment had been put up. So I don't know if they want to comment from their actual account and say this is CChem, cool. But the one thing that I took down was from somebody that was like Sasha McButterbutt 0055595. And so yeah, but Yeah. So, but that's the whole reason for the Patreon is that, like, look, if we're going to independently put this show together, you guys contribute to this show. You guys are in the chat. The chat goes up on the video. You guys are actually a part of the show. I like it this way. I like that, you know, people that watch either from home or on their phone, I try to read out the questions that are coming in that I'm answering and stuff, so that if people are just listening, they don't get totally lost onto what's going on. Where's Nisi going? Thank you for talking my ear off while I get stuffs done. Got a jet. See you tomorrow. Strange how Nisi's got to go right at 5 p.m. How odd. Diabolical. Diabolical even. But have a good one, Nisi. Nisi, one of the mucho apreciado people in around and roundabout in this area. Jennifer J. Sarchicino was able to download my missed episodes and then listen to them on my 6-hour drive. Oh, right on, because YouTube Red. Cool. You know, it's one of those things, like if YouTube Red was available in the whole world and people could sign up for it, then it would be a perfect model. But a lot of people can't. So one of the things I want to do is do that on my end, is like get rid of the ads and all that crap so that people can actually just download this stuff. I know that at some point in time, I will be uploading the audio to probably podcast style stuff at some time in the future. I don't know if we're going to do these old ones and like re-upload. I don't know if I'm going to upload these old ones that may or may not make a whole lot of sense in a podcast format. But at some point, I'm going to start doing some long format podcasts. Jimmy of Aquarium Coop. Out there in the aquarium coop with the chickens and whatnot, it says, I'll buy both of your tanks, Joel, if you'll be involved building such stands for them in the fish room. Your question/comment is confusing, but yeah, if you want to buy both those tanks, I'll build stands for them. Yeah, I mean, I'll come up there and build stands all day. You just order the wood and the screws, and I'll bring my saws up there and stuff, and we'll build stands in your fish room. Yeah, I can do that. It's not a big deal. Let's build some stuff. Let's build some fish tank stands for the fish tank Rex. Yeah, I'll be happy to build that stuff. All right, so let me catch up on some of y'all's questions here. Oh no, we're over the hour mark. All right. For $20, wait, what? What's 111 on sale right now? CCAM has secret accounts. Check right now, Carson. Should I get this 110 for $20? It might need to be resealed. No, I wouldn't buy a 110 for $20 if it needs to be resealed. It's going to be way more work than you're going to save on your labor for resealing that stupid thing. Honestly, in my opinion. Unless you're gonna take it apart and use the glass to make some other tanks out of it, that would probably be a useful use. It would be a useful use of your time. Useful use of your time. Yeah. But I personally, I wouldn't reseal a 110. It just is just not worth my time. I mean, if it's gonna take me 3 hours and then it'd be sitting somewhere in my shop for a week while it seals, or while it cures. Sorry, while it seals. I don't have the time for that. I don't have the time for a stupid thing to be in my way right now. You guys know in the past I've built quite a few glass tanks, like frag tanks and all that kind of stuff, because mainly because of how expensive they are. It's super expensive to get frag tanks because they're a really weird size that no one really makes, and then the few people that do make them charge a premium for them. So I've made a bunch of those tanks because that was worth my time. Because let's see, I made 4 frag tanks, I think, the last time that I made them, and the company that was going to make them wanted to get paid to make them. I think it was $1,200 a piece, and I think I made 4 of them for $400. So it was really worth my time, realistically, when you get down to it. And then I later on I sold them for $150 a piece. So it cost me $400 to make them, and then I ended up selling them for $600 total when I sold all of them. So I didn't. Whoa! I hit the mic. Sorry about that. So I made a couple of bucks just on my labor. It wasn't like check me out. I'm robbing somebody or anything like that. So I think it just worked out fine. Let's see, a little off topic. I'm getting more fish tomorrow and using a seeded sponge filter to cycle. Should I add the sponge tonight or wait till tomorrow to put the sponge in right before I put the fish in? Nick K, I can actually answer that question here as we're getting down to the wrap-up time. We're over our limit now, so I know it's Monday and it's exciting and everybody's back. But I do know we're getting to the end here. So unless we do the extension thing, which is always an option, but it's not really my option. That's your option. Seed it right now. The sooner you can seed the bacteria from the old filter into the new filter, the better. The sooner you can do it, the better. As long as it's up to temperature. That's going to be one issue that you might run into. I'm not saying it's a guarantee or anything like that, but maybe if you had the tank and you just filled it up with like cold water from the tap, I would wait till it warmed up a little bit, because you know the cold water from the tap around here is like 45 degrees, which is pretty significant to go from like 82 to 45. So I would just wait till it warmed up a little bit and then add that seed in there. Basically a 24-hour period with the seeding in there, the bacteria is going to be going. The bacteria is going to be going, going to be growing. Just make sure you have put a little bit of fish food in there, not very much, just a tiny pinch or something like that. So you do have a little bit of free floating, food for the bacteria to get going. That's the easiest way to explain it. Would just be a little bit of food for the bacteria to get rocking and rolling, and then the bacteria will start populating all of the surfaces in there and in the filter and stuff. So the bacteria wouldn't die overnight. It would die out over time. It would take a significant amount of time because there actually is food around for bacteria to eat. It's obviously eating at a bacterial level, so it's not like you need to throw whole steaks in there or anything for the bacteria. So I would get it going. I would just get it going now and just make sure that your temperature is pretty close to where bacteria wants to grow. That's just kind of one of the things that bacteria need, is a little bit of temperature and a little bit of moisture, which moisture is pretty easy to get when you're inside a fish tank, I think, as far as I know. Let's go run down to the end of the show here. Running down to the end of the show. The turtle girl had to go. See you later. Add vitamins to the food and water. Aquarium salt helps. Give them a little boost. Let's see. I'm sure I missed a lot of questions here, guys, but hope everybody's having a fantastic Monday. And I just want to express my sincere gratitude and my excitement towards where we're headed here. Honestly, I feel fantastic. I would, if I were you guys, I'd tune in the rest of the week because we have reef stuff coming up. We have a whole new planted tank going in with, which is a 150-gallon acrylic, which, by the way, is a beautiful. It is a beautiful tank. It was a custom-built tank, and it is marvelous. It is a marvelous-looking tank, and I'm super happy to get it. Let's see. I'll see everybody tomorrow at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And a quick shout out here to all of our super chatters. The glass boxes with the $2, Turbo Fish with the $2, and Candy Overhauls with the $10 to help out with the trip to Chicago. Thank you very much, guys. I totally appreciate it. It's super awesome, and I'm excited to go to Chicago. It's not the city that I'm excited to go to. I'm excited to go to the aquatic experience. I'm excited to go meet a bunch of people that I've never met in person, and a lot of you guys, and get a chance to give you guys hugs and say creepy things to you and yell surprises at the top of my lungs inside a convention center, and probably get drug out and get in trouble. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully everybody will make it out there. I don't get anything from going other than just the fun experience. So have a fantastic Monday, and I don't care if you all light off fireworks anymore, because it's finally raining here again, and it probably won't burn down now. So do whatever you like, but you're probably going to get arrested if you do start lighting off those fireworks. So maybe don't get arrested, And maybe don't wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we'll all be cool. Coming up on the end of the show. Turn down your volume, 'cause here comes the later. Oh yeah, I condensed the mic, so I can probably yell into it now, and it probably doesn't break your speakers anymore.